Hello everyone, how's it going today? We are back for some more Colosseum building, and this is about what we have done so far. We got a little bit higher thing, there's the camera, the other camera. So we've got about half of the oval done, although it is the lower half, so I don't know. My hope is that I can get a full quarter done this session, and then next session get the next quarter done. We'll see how it goes. Let's go ahead and transition over. Actually, let me go ahead and get the bags for the next section out. There we go. Alright, let me go ahead and transition over to the other camera, and then I can move this one out of the way, and we can get to the building. There's a little bit of pre-stream chatter about Baldur's Gate 3. I have not played it, but definitely definitely sounding like it needs a meta build to get through later parts of the game. Makes me not really want to play. More like even more so than I didn't want to before. I actually had thought for a while that I would do an LP of it, but just like the more I saw as it came out, the less I was. So. Yeah, no, I mean, like, that's the thing, like, and that gets to my whole complaint with D&D these days. Like, needing a meta build to beat the game is, like, so anathema to me in terms of, like, that style of play was drilled into me as a youngster that is bad game design. That is bad AD&D campaign design to allow that and have that stuff happen. It's like one of the reasons why, like, I was having some conversations. One of the reasons why I ban the ambidexterity weapon proficiency in AD&D is because it makes dual wielding too easy, and dual wielding is very powerful. So I don't like it. It's not even killer GM. It's just, like, you're supposed to be playing slightly above average people who just end up being good at what they do, kind of thing. And when you're doing meta builds, I mean, like, if I had a player who I definitely saw doing a meta build kind of thing in 2E, which is not as easy as it sounds, I would most definitely start throwing things at them that they aren't prepared for. Like, if they specialized in a weapon, that weapon would not show up. Okay, where is the 1x2 plate with ball joint? There it is. And, like, there was a Discord server that I'm in that someone was talking about how they could get one of their players to, you know, like one of the players was not being efficient with DPS, and they were asking how they can try to get their player to be more efficient with DPS and be more helpful to the group. And I'm like, you know, after the description of the things that they were doing, I mean, it was possible that they weren't understanding what their character knew they could and couldn't do, kind of thing. But it sounded to me like they were trying to use some role-playing solutions to fights, as opposed to just stab the enemies with their weapons until it's dead, or blast them with spells. And that, in my opinion, should be encouraged. And that's kind of like the problem I have with modern RPGs. You're gonna have fun, not go through 50 characters a session. Yeah, I mean, like there definitely is a potential fun game. No worries, Lunalu. Oh, I'm an adversarial GM. I'm just not a murderous GM. There's only one character that has died in the campaign that permanently died, and that was not me. They put themselves in that situation. I mean, there were many situations in which a more murderous dungeon master would absolutely have forced them to make a new character, kind of thing. So, you would love me as a 5e DM? I don't know. I would not like 5e. I wouldn't like DMing it. I could see playing it with people that I already trust, but I do not think that I would ever play it with people I don't know already, kind of thing. Need to admit this is a dungeon crawl and stop trying diplomacy or stop having fun and be efficient. Yeah, like, I mean, if the player is genuinely not clear on what their character knows and doesn't know, then you do need to have a talk with the player and say, hey, look, just say, does my character know blah, blah, blah? And I will tell you yes or no. I will answer these things. But you should never discourage role-playing. Unless it's like someone trying to steal the spotlight and stuff like that. And then that's not really role-playing. Like, that's something else entirely. You know, but yeah, I mean, like, you need to have a talk with your players so that everyone is on the same page with what's going on in the game. Like, if one person thinks that they're doing it, that you're playing a diplomacy game, but you had planned it out to be a hack and slash dungeon crawl adventure, then yeah, you need to talk to them and let them know that they're mistaken about that and figure out, how to get them on the right page, or say goodbye to them in a friendly manner. I mean, there's nothing wrong with being on a different page and being like, this isn't the game that I thought it would be, so I'm gonna bow out here. There's no, there's nothing wrong with that at all. Even in second, they felt the need to have an article named "It's Role-Playing, Not Role-Playing." Yeah. Well, second edition is really where I think the move away from a hack and slash really came strong. Like, a lot of 1E is straight up hack and slash. But then again, a lot of the published 1E modules are tournament modules. Modules that you're supposed to play in a tournament at a convention over the course of, I don't know, 4 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours, maybe, something like that. And then you get scored based on how you do and stuff like that. That, totally understand that you're not going to have a situation where you're spending a lot of time role-playing out things because you don't have time. You want to get to the end of this this module. There's a reason that beyond the D&D security blanket zone, you drift hard into World of Darkness. But yeah, I mean, like, for that person's conversation, I wrote a long, big thing about how it sounded like they were, and it from what they were saying, it also could have been someone trolling the Dungeon Master. Definitely could have been that. And in which case, like, it's okay to kill that character then. It's okay to kill that character. You don't have to allow a player to troll you. But at the same time, like, benefit of the doubt, assume good intentions, and it more so sounds like they're just trying to find alternate solutions to things, rather than just, you know, what is the maximum damage I can do here? You know, and a tabletop is it's a lot easier to deal with that kind of thing where like some players are not being efficient, but they're trying out some things that just aren't working. And so you as Dungeon Master can give them, you know, the benefit of the doubt kind of thing and you know, fudge some rolls so that they don't get killed just because they tried some things that didn't work kind of thing. Because again, like some of you said, it's all about having fun. You're confused what the conversation is? That's okay. We'll eventually be talking about something else. The fact that you can easily diplomatize your way through the game with two classes easily, one you will never ever play, and the other is a sorcerer. Yeah, I mean, one of the things that I like about AD&D is that there really is not a class that is better at that than others. Even the Bard and the Paladin, they just have some slightly better rolls. But it is by no means guaranteed. For systems where you can define your character personality. Could have been one of those players who were told by the OSR to treat combat as a failure state. Yeah, I mean, I didn't know, like, I had a very low amount of information about the character, you know, like the player and their character and stuff like that. But I also try to come to things as, you know, assume good faith unless shown otherwise, sort of things. Like a spam caller I had today who was most definitely doing things illegally. Oh, we have no do not call list. I may have cursed them out a little bit. I may have cursed them out. It may have been cathartic. Did have a lot of fun with Baldur's Gate 3. You don't think you were using a meta build, but you're playing on an easier setting? Just put them on the phone with Horse? Even Horse won't do that. He has too much self-respect. Well, Lord Canis, you can always ask around for, like, I mean, if you're in a tough situation in the game, you know, ask around other people, see if they have a, you know, how did they get through it or something like that. I mean, there's no harm in asking for advice. Like, I don't consider it not doing it yourself kind of thing if you ask for advice when you get stuck or something like that. Or anything like that. What is with the whole sphere thing in earlier versions of D&D? What do you mean by sphere thing? You mean crystal spheres or priest spheres? Or some other spheres? Like, I am very much a person that does not, like... You know, if I'm in a shop or something like that, and things are not going perfectly with the register or something like that, the cashier is struggling to find a price or something like that, or just slow to ring things up, I don't care. Take it easy. Spam callers though, no, that's not someone just having a bad day or anything like that. Pre-spheres related to deities. All right, so basically, AD&D 1E, you had druids and you had clerics. And they had a number of the same spells, but they had separate spell lists. So you had, and it is similar to how it's done these days. So you have a priest spell list and you have a druid spell list. Well, but then you could, there were only the two, I wouldn't even call it, like, it's similar to domains in a sense, but it really isn't. The spheres are a way to customize individual priesthoods in a way that 1E didn't have. So every spell gets put into a sphere based on who gets access to it. Unlike the wizard spell schools, which are based on what it does. So there is a fundamental difference between those two concepts. And then from there, I need a beige one. You can make custom priesthoods without having to create a whole new custom spell list. Because, like, in 1E, you had Dragon Magazine, and they had tons and tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of individual classes. Like, you had a new idea? Well, it was a new class. You know, everything from Jester to Acrobat to Anti-Paladin to 8 other Paladins of the different alignments. Each of those becomes a different class. Come along to 2nd edition, and they didn't want to have all of these classes. Like, every time you have a new concept, you have a new class. Howdy, Cloth Warthog, how's it going? And so one of the ways that they handled that was by having the priest spheres. So, like, you have the healing sphere and, you know, cure light wounds, cure serious wounds, the heal spell, that kind of thing go in there. In necromancy, you have things like animate dead and regenerate, I think. You know, so stuff like that is not just healing, but dealing more with the body as a whole. And then you can have a priesthood that has access to, you know, AC XYZ, and another one that has access to LMN TV kind of thing. And so you can have these, like, every priesthood is then different without having to have whole new classes for them all the time. And they're just all specialty priests. Yeah, like a war god that doesn't grant healing spells, or a god of peace that doesn't grant combat spells and stuff like that. You have the various like elemental type spells. You have the various, wards and protection and time and thought and stuff like that. Like all kinds of different things, and then they get categorized that way, and individual priesthoods have access to different groups of them. It's kind of like how a specialist wizard has, loses access to 2 or 3 different schools of magic. We get a roller skate here. One group of priests get sole access to the TV. Yes. Yeah, that's my priests. So it is kind of like domains, except imagine that the domains cover every spell that the priest has access to, rather than, like, in 3E and beyond, I believe there you have, like this is the cleric spell list right here. All of these are the cleric spells. Every cleric has access to that. But then each one gets to choose, like, this extra group of spells and this extra group of spells, and then another one gets this group of spells or this group of spells, kind of thing. So domains in 3E and beyond, as far as I know, is like, it's the couple extra things that you put on top of the main list, rather than being the entire list, determining the entire list all at once. I hope that's made sense. Another question related to deities. How would I handle polytheist characters for anything divine when it comes to magic? Like one who worships Tetherin, Viralde, and Ilastrae, or one who worships Azuth, Mystra, and Ogma. If they're not a priest, there's no problem. They can just worship them all. Almost every D&D world and race should be considered polytheistic. There are a few races that have one single deity, and they would be considered henotheistic, which is like one god for us. There are other gods out there, but they're not for us. As for a priest, if they're a specialty priest is specializing in one deity, one mythos, one single deity. If they want to be generalist, if they want to worship a whole pantheon, if they want to worship multiple deities, then they got to be clerics, and then those deities have to be in agreement. And then you do have a fixed list of spells. Let's see. To recreate the ionic columns scrolls, the LEGO designers repurposed an existing LEGO roller skate element. Yes. So these are the columns there with the ionic capitals. Red Hyena, how's it going? Thank you for the resubscription. While the Colosseum stands, Rome shall stand. When the Colosseum falls, Rome shall fall. When Rome falls, the world shall fall. Well, that last part was a little bit of a embellishment. So how's it going? That answer your question there, Rolljax? It's one fight in the game that they allow you to do it, but the game also warns you not to, and they made it a Cambion, son of Mephistopheles, who has, you wish you weren't joking, 666 hit points. Even deity avatars in 2nd edition do not have 666 hit points. Like, that was one of my complaints about Baldur's Gate 1 and 2, is that they did not give hit points to enemies that were in line with 2nd edition, actual 2nd edition stats. That's the Sean Bean narration from When You Build the World Wonder Colosseum in Civ 6. Oh yeah, no, I mean, I'm pretty sure that is a quote an actual quote from a Roman person. I don't know who. Probably does say who it is. It's neat that they got Sean Bean to do the voices. I always liked that they got Leonard Nimoy to do Civ 4. I'm not sure who that quote is from, though. You know, I used to not be a fan of Carthago Delenda Est, but I'm kind of thinking that we need to repurpose it. There are definitely some things that might be warranted for. You know, like Billionaires Delenda Est. Number of characters out for your first character you want to beat the game with. Your character straight up does not trust because they're pushing things a little too hard. Wait, do you actually get to interact with Vlaakith in Baldur's Gate 3? If so, that's insane. Didn't the game get Patrick Stewart to voice a character or two in a non-Star Trek? Oh yeah, no, Patrick Stewart's done a few things. He is in, oh man. Lands of Lore. Yeah, he's in Lands of Lore. One of your favorite quotes from Civ 4 was for Sputnik, beep, 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 yeah. I mean, voice acting's a job, so many actors will do that if, you know, it fits into their schedule and fits into their what they're being paid, you know, like what they expect to be paid for the work, so. Isn't Oblivion Elder Scrolls 4? Oh, maybe you did miss Lord Kena saying that. I've never played any Elder Scrolls other than Daggerfall. Plays the Emperor Uriel Septim. Amazingly, he got his hair back after Daggerfall. I love that opening video in Daggerfall. They did a great job with that, I think. Even the kind of goofy wizard with him. But I have no idea who that actor is. I wonder if he's local. Actually, you know what? He might be local. He might be a DC area actor. Because Bethesda's located around here. Civ 7 has Gwendoline Christie for the narrator. I don't know who that is offhand. You would watch the hell out of me doing a Skyrim LP? I have a few people who have definitely said that, so who knows? If I did, I'd probably want to play through the others, which I hear are better than Daggerfall. On the other hand, I don't know how they can be better than Daggerfall. Like, how can you beat that buggy mess? I mean, amazing game. Let's see, 1x6 tile there. Game of Thrones, not sure which character. She does a good job from what you recall. Answers your question. Final AD&D question. Is class and a half a thing? I have no idea what class and a half means, so no. But I might just not recognize that term. That might not be a term used in AD&D, but the concept is there. Tall blonde female knight in Game of Thrones, Lucifer in the Sandman TV. Okay, yeah, Lucifer and Sandman. Okay, yeah, I know who that is. 3 types of semi-columns are featured in the Colosseum: Doric, Ionic, and Corinthian. Build? Now explain Thaco. Thaco is super duper easy. Die roll minus your Thaco score is the armor class you hit. Boom, done. Yeah, Thaco. Thaco is love. It really is. Well, if you're not playing it, then it doesn't matter, Bahamut. So AC is a modifier to your die roll. You could do that. The thing about Thaco is that it is very, very much a... You can treat it as a quadratic equation. Because any modifier to one side, aka your 2-hit roll, your Thaco, can become a penalty to the other side. aka the armor class. You're reading through Castles and Crusades, which is a system you'd use to play AD&D. They have a character progression system called Class and a Half, where you pick 2 classes to play and level at the same time without multi-classing, but the second class is at half progression. Yeah, I have no idea what that is. And I did that wrong. There we go. That's fine. Many people lurk, Lunalu. The problem with the combat matrix is just having to have it in front of you all the time. That is the problem with having any sort of combat matrix table like that. So you'd beat a fighter thief 4-2 at level 4? Okay, but does that mean that when you gain 1,000 XP, you're technically gaining 1,500 XP? 1,000 in your main class and 500 in your secondary class? Is that what's going on? Or are you gaining... Are you putting like 750 in your main class and 250 in your secondary class? Because that's a pretty big distinction. Should have added a question mark. Fair enough. Rovaljax, do you know? What is the mechanic of that? Because if you're getting free XP out of that, that's too powerful in my opinion. And how do hit points work in that situation? Because I think multi-classing in AD&D is an incredibly powerful and very well-balanced system. Howdy, Vigastry. How's it going? Like, I think AD&D multi-classing is better than any later editions multi-classing by far, and like, even setting aside my preference to AD&D. The effort these people went to try to model broken things with limited shape options, yeah, I know, it's nice. I like how they do it. 3.5 multi-classing was alright. I think it's the same. So, I'm pretty sure that multi-classing in all later editions of D&D are just... When you can go up a level, you choose what class you put the level into. There might be some restrictions on that, but ultimately that's what it is. A level is a discrete object that you can put in any column kind of thing. Working on a new video game. Nice. Something that you can share or something under NDA? As far as you know, there's no splitting X. You just both class features after level 2, albeit with second class's caveats like you mentioned. Yeah, that seems incredibly powerful. I don't know why you would ever not do that if you can do that. Provided you don't want to do something else. Like, if you're just getting free class abilities from another class, that's incredibly powerful. Dual classing in AD&D is very powerful, but also very limited. You have to have a good character in order to do that in the first place. Even if the class and a half is just one class, that's still really powerful if it's free. No, that's fine. I'm not criticizing you or anything. And this is my opinion. This is my opinion only. I mean, Lord knows the modern game is all about power gaming, so... Yeah, but you'd have to be an Elias clone to be able to do something like that, not a rogue AI. You'll let me know after you reread the section about that. That's fine. I mean, no rush. You know. What I think is too powerful, it may not necessarily be too powerful for someone else's game, so... Can I spell out what I just said you'd need to be? An Elias clone. Alias. A-L-I-A-S. That's a character. I pronounce it Elias. I think it's probably supposed to be alias. Spell Sword from Jeff Grubbs and Kate Novak's Finderstone trilogy or series. Azure Bonds. Song of the Sorial, no, Finderstone, Song of the Sorials. Night Masks? I think that's the fourth one. Alias, A-L-I-A-S. Yeah, protagonist of Curse of the Azure Bonds. Actually, just Azure Bonds. Curse of the Azure Bonds is the module or computer game sequel. So the reason that she is, like, she has straight 17s. She's an artificial life form, and she has straight 17s. 17 strength, 17 dexterity, 17 constitution, 17 intelligence, 17 wisdom, 17 charisma. She can be any class, and she can dual class into any class. You can't help but feel whenever people talk about subjective stuff like TTRPGs, it's somehow treated like an absolute truth. There is that, and, I mean, like, I will admit that I have a very firm view on what I think is the games should be. Her other clones do have different classes, yeah. I don't know, Bahamut. You might be surprised. You rail against power gaming mentality to the point that you've had the same DM for the past 2 decades because he knows your playstyle and tries his darndest to let you feel included. That's really good. That's a really good dungeon master, then, Lord Canis. I'm glad that you have a dungeon master like that. Right, Wyvern Spur, not Finderstone. Thank you. It's actually been a while since I've read any of them, and I should probably reread them. They are my favorite Forgotten Realms books. Well, there was something called a spell plague, Bahamut. All right, I like the details that went into these sections. It's pretty cool. I especially like the use of the roller skates to get ionic columns. I'm gonna have to use that myself. I'll have to find some other things. Explain. Spell Plague was just a world-shattering event, realm-shattering event. Didn't hear my response to what, Rovaljax? Alright, spare parts. We got a tan roller skate extra, tan 1x1 plate, tan 1x1 tile slope, 1x1 tile, I'm sorry there, and a beige 1x1 plate as extras. Yeah, it's Cyric messing with things. Being a jerk face as per usual. Luckily, I ignore the spell plague. I do get kind of amused at being some places and people, like, complaining about all the things that got messed up by the spell plague and then the second sundering and stuff like that. And I'm just sitting here happy as a clam, like, I'm still living my best life back in 2E. I don't have to worry about any of that. Robojax, I was basically just saying that, like, I have very firm views on what I think should kind of be in a TTRPG. It's kind of based on what the difference is between a role-playing game and a game. But at the same time, as long as everyone's having fun, that's kind of the important thing. Everyone having fun is the important thing. But that's one reason why I stick with 2nd edition. Like, 2nd edition does most of what I want in a TTRPG. There's a few things that I would change, but overall, it's what I want. So, you know, kind of a if it ain't broke, why fix it? That said, I have thought about trying to publish my own version of AD&D 3E. And thinking about what I would do for that. Personality of your group matters when running a campaign, yeah. That does matter too. Is a draconic deity Tamara a thing in my AD&D? Yeah. I wrote up her entry, so yeah, absolutely. Haven't had any dealings with her because, you know, unless I was playing a Council of Worms games, most of the dragon deities are not going to be coming up. The vast majority of them will never even get mentioned. Alright, where is the panel? There it is. Just like if I'm not dealing with bullywugs, there's not going to be anything with Romanos. Alright, 1x3 plate, there it is. Ah, but see, Jewel is a worshiper of Asterinian. So Asterinian is really the only draconic deity that's shown up, and the only one likely to show up, if she were to show up again. And yes, she is definitely one of the more requested characters to return. So maybe one day might pander to the audience. We'll see. Of course, if she did show up, would the players know? You check on my take on AD&D 3E? It would be very much second edition, just with some things tweaked. Like, I would probably alter... And I haven't decided exactly how I would want to alter it, but... like, one of the things that I would kind of want to alter the most is proficiencies. Pander to you by making Gale Dicarios an actual deity with fluff and stat sheets. I don't know anything about Baldur's Gate 3, so can't do that. Pander to you by making Tiamat's avatar fight an army of tripod Martians. I mean, she does have a black dragon head, so I think that acid would work pretty well on the tripods. The cold and fire and chlorine gas might not do so well. I would think the lightning would. She could always have a brown dragon head or a yellow dragon head as well. Actually, I've kind of always thought that she should have she might actually. I should go back and look. Maybe I gave her a deep dragon head. I don't know. How would I redo proficiencies? Well, so part of the problem is that I would need to playtest it, and playtest it significantly. But I think that I would probably draw upon the Buck Rogers game. So the Buck Rogers game has basically a skill system that's similar to how thieves have skills in AD&D. And so thieves' skills would just be skills there as well. I would have to think about how to do that fully, though. So the Buck Rogers game has a skill system where every skill check is like one of 4 different categories. Like, I think it's easy, very easy, normal, and hard. And like when it's hard, it's like half your score. There might even be a very hard. I don't remember exactly what it is. But basically, like, you have your skill, and then there's a divider or a multiplier to your stat roll to determine what your actual skill is in any given situation. And I kind of like the idea behind that, because it's a percentile skill and you put points into it. One thing that I wouldn't do is that you have, like, every warrior has access to all of the warrior skills. And I don't think I would do that. Like, there might be general warrior skills, and then like professional skills or something like that. I don't know. Like, I'd have to, and that's the thing. It's like I'd have to playtest it to figure out what I like and how I feel that it works compared to the proficiency system. One of the problems with the proficiency system is that it's really expensive to make a proficiency better, and an alternative would be to institute a system where you can make your proficiencies better instead. But at the same time, like, also there are some proficiencies that are, like, you know, if you're a paladin, any charisma proficiency you have is going to be something that you rarely fail. Something that you rarely fail. Because you're going to have, you know, something like a 16, 17, maybe even an 18 on it, depending on what the skill is. Howdy, Shield of Hope. How's it going? Correct you if you're wrong, but based on your understanding so far, hyper specialists is what you want? No. I mean, hyper specialists in what? Kind of depends on what you mean. So the thing is like, I would rather have a proficient, like, okay, so you're a fighter, you level up, now you're level 3, you get a new non-weapon proficiency. You have a choice, whole new skill, completely new skill you did not have before within reason, like, I mean, everyone can try to swim kind of thing. But swimming means that you're essentially like an Olympic level swimmer. So a whole new skill versus a +1 bonus to an existing skill. Which would you choose? See, even if I had a 7 in a really good skill, I'd rather have a 7 in something else as well out of 20 rather than bump that up to an 8. If one expects you to make a hyper specialist, they're going to be disappointed, and if the game feels like it's punishing for someone who doesn't hyper focus, then you'll stop playing. Yeah, like I would not want, like, I actually feel like hyper specialists are bad. Like, one of the downsides in the current AD&D game that I have is that I have to keep throwing masterful locks at the party because Laftel has maxed out his lockpicking. So, like, they're like, if I keep throwing normal locks at him, then he has a 95% chance of picking any lock. And it's like, then what's the point of it being locked? You want a D&D where you can model Conan properly? Depends on what skills you have, though you do like being able to do more. Right. Like, again, obviously the situations are going to vary. But yeah, in general, you're going to want to be able to do more rather than be 5% better. You know? What would you rather have? 35% chance of doing something brand new or 5% better at something that you can already do? Like, it's obviously going to vary, but there aren't nearly as many situations where you're going to want to be 5% better rather than have a 35% chance to do something or some equivalent. Because you might even choose something that you're 85% likely to be able to do. Like, if you have a high ability score, you got a 17, you know, you might have an 80 or 90% chance to do this brand new skill that you didn't have before. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. So that's the problem with proficiencies. One idea I had was to have kind of a sliding scale where if you have a 7, if you put a point into it, you get a +3 bonus rather than +1. And that might be worthwhile, you know? And it's only when you're up at, like, 15, now you're only going to get 1%, one point into that. Like, that's the kind of where my thinking is on that. So it's basically, like, it would be down to, I would need to play test out to see what feels better in play. Because I don't know. I don't know what feels better in play. Like, I was playtesting something with the AD&D group regarding heavy weapons on Spelljammer ships, and I recently rolled it back because I didn't like the way it played. But playtesting things is, kind of difficult, and, if you're not in a good, solid position to do that, and I'm also not in any position to create these rules and publish them, so, there's an element of, like, what's the point? D&D 3 Plus annoys you that they kept the 3 to 18 attributes but made half of them meaningless. Every odd point means nothing. Yeah, like the thing is listening to some 5e games, I don't think I've ever once heard someone say, "What's your strength score?" It's always, "What's your strength modifier?" But if they got rid of the attributes, then it would be even more obviously not AD&D it wouldn't be D&D anymore. That's one of the core recognizable elements of D&D. The 3 to 18 ability score system. Howdy, Gribbly. 3E had a attribute damage from poison directly from the number. Yeah, but even so, it's still a relatively minor thing. Like, you could still do that if you got rid of the attribute scores themselves and just went with the modifier. You just change the mechanic a little bit. Take half a point. But one of the reasons why they went with that is because no longer the bell curve of ability scores was no longer really a thing, where the tiny minority of threes just had really bad effects of that stat, and the tiny minority of 18s had really good. It's just a linear modifier. And of course, you're not rolling for most of the time, you're not rolling for the stats anymore anyway. Pathfinder 2E did just that and just gives attribute modifiers? Yeah. I mean, I prefer AD&D's way of doing it, but looking at the 3E system, or the 5E system, and being like, well, what's really the point? I don't know. They're keeping it because it's tradition. So I kind of suspect that eventually they will get rid of it. Because once you've made the numbers kind of meaningless, and no one's actually looking at the numbers anymore, they're looking at some secondary attribute. Like, entirely. Like, in AD&D, obviously you are oftentimes looking at the secondary attribute, like carrying capacity. weight allowance kind of thing. But it's not a... But you are still oftentimes looking at the score itself, too. One thing you hate in 5e, how some groups get more love than others, for instance, Githyanki and Beta Zoo. I mean, that's always going to be the case. Like, you cannot give equal time to everything in the game. It's just impossible. And, like, there might be some minor, you know, relatively minor thing that gets added in one book, and someone's going to love that. And they're never going to touch on it again, and that person's going to feel left out. And, like, it's going to happen. Looking at you, Wiggles. Looking at you. I love my Herwady. Asmar because we had to get a counterpart to Tieflings? I mean, that's a 2E thing. And that's reasonable. I don't have a problem with Asmar. Tieflings got done dirty, though. Let's see, 1x2 brick there. There we go. They're trying to fix that in the newest 5e. What? The Tieflings being done dirty? I don't know about that. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about by that. Oops. That is not there yet. They leaned into the anime visuals, so if you're a part demon, you must be obviously demonic. Yeah, and like the thing is like either people are going to be scared by that, or people are not going to be scared by normal demons. That's my issue there. It makes sense in Planescape, where an Abishai or a Marlith or walking down the streets of Sigil is not exactly a surprising thing. But in something like the Forgotten Realms, I kind of feel like that should be. Get that on there. Let's see. All right. Get that up here. These 1x1 plates on there. And connect these in. All right. Nope. Connect in this way. Let's not do it the wrong way. There we go. And then up at the top. There we go. All right, so it looks like we're going to have a series of 6 and then 4 dividers. All right, spare parts, tan 1x1 plate and beige 1x1 cylinder plate. All right, 24, 24, and 24. Overly fiendish-looking tieflings are all the rage in the public zeitgeist. Oh, I know. I know that. And I mean, I like the aesthetic, too. Don't get me wrong, but there's a difference between, like, you know... I guess part of the issue is, like... There's a difference between enjoying an aesthetic and feeling it is appropriate for certain types of games. It's like... Are laser guns cool? Yeah. Do I need them in every TV show and game and book and stuff like that? No. I need them in ones where it's appropriate. Like, that's kind of how I feel. It's like... That stuff is appropriate in Planescape, you know... fiendish-looking tieflings, but in Forgotten Realms or Greyhawk or something like that, generally not. I mean, you can have a couple areas where it would be, like the Lands of Ayaz in Greyhawk. Yeah, I could see them being more common, but they're still going to be, you know, frightening to the average person, because if you see someone who looks like a demonic figure in the Lands of Ayaz, they're pretty likely a high-ranking member of Ayaz's armies and stuff like that, and that alone is kind of frightening. That is not someone you're going to want to mess with. That's why you tend to stick to a theme. You don't allow Tieflings, Aasimar, Aarakocra. I should go for the 2E Aarakocra. Get some real restrictions on people who want to play them. It probably is not a rogue AI. I have been pronouncing it based on not reading a pronunciation. I do that a lot. It's pretty common. You've never heard anyone say it. Oh, fair enough. I can't say that I've heard anyone say it either. I don't deal a whole lot with Greyhawk people. Nope, not for me, Lunalu. And you have 2 hard race bans for specific reasons, and again, you make your own worlds. 2 you don't allow: Kalashtar and Warforged. Howdy, Duke Darkwood. Now, both are fine, and it's perfectly okay for someone to have a preference. Neither is better than the other. I actually don't have any like full-on race bans in AD&D. I will have, depending on the setting, you have to give me a compelling reason why your character would be where they are and doing what they were doing and be ready to stay with the group. Kind of thing. You're on session 3 of Titanic. How far are you left? I think that one was 9 sessions, but I don't really remember. Howdy, Minor Trader. You've read Pathfinder 2E has good math, but you don't know if that is 100% true? So, the thing, though, is that, like, it depends on the type of balance that you're going for. Is it the type of balance where classes are mathematically balanced against each other? That was a hallmark of 4E, and I'm not a fan of that. I don't know if that's the kind of balance. I like the balance of AD&D. Oops, there is a 1x3 plate there. I mean, if someone came to me and they were like, I want to play a robot in AD&D, I'd be like, are you sure you don't want a sci-fi game? Are you sure you don't want a sci-fi game? Because there really aren't robots in AD&D. Can you be Talos, a bronze man full of lava? No. No, you can't. What about constructs? They're mostly not intelligent. The Greek Pantheon would like to have a word about my automaton's extended warranty. Can you be a gingerbread cookie paladin? Sure. That's a paladin who just likes gingerbread cookies, though. The one with the Frogamoth. Frogamoth. I love the Frogamoth enemy. I'm not sure what you're referring to, though, not a rogue AI. So there are auto-gnomes. They are technically robots. There are some mechanical creations like Trobriand's automatons in Undermountain. And some of them are technically intelligent, but most of them aren't truly free-willed. And auto-gnomes also kind of go boom, oftentimes. Comes in wearing the Cosmos outfit Ald told you to use. Wait, this isn't Monday? Oh, it's Monday now, Mad Martin. Can you be a half-orc, half-ogre? That's called an Ogrelon, and yeah, there are rules for that. You'd be dealing with some negative interactions with NPCs, though. Expedition to the Barrier Peaks. Oh, well, yeah, I mean, but that's just an adventure, and that's a 1E adventure, and I don't use that. And there is also a, Tale of the Comet, which is, where sci-fi and fantasy, medieval fantasy collide. But again, like, you're not playing any of the robots, and it's a very specific campaign style. So not exactly if those were an everyday sight either. How many did they have? Well, there was, like, I think Hephaestus had multiple ones, but again, they weren't really seen as, like, they were pretty clearly robots in your standard sense. Instead of having Warforged, you got a more proper Greek myth-inspired automaton instead that, due to the creativity of their maker, can and will resemble and somehow even have racial traits of other races. I mean, that's fine. If someone wants to do that in their game, I'm not going to stop anyone. Not for me, though. Like, here's the big problem with playing any kind of automaton in AD&D. Number one, either they're incredibly overpowered compared to other, PC races, like if they're an actual golem, basically being immune to almost every spell. That's a little bit much. And if they're not a golem, well, how do they get repaired? Did Buck Rogers have robots? Not as PCs. It had NPC robots and NPC synthetic life forms, aka AIs, actual AIs, not large language models. But yeah, I mean, the robots in Buck Rogers were, your standard fantasy robots. Not intelligent. Yeah, 5e just lets them be cured. Same thing with, 5e lets autognomes just be cured as well. Did Roy Rogers have robots? I have no idea. Definitely my local Roy Rogers does not. Which is probably good. I don't know that I'd want robot-made food. Roy Rogers is more than just burgers. They have the double R-bar burger, which is the best burger ever. I think they chalked that up to them wooden frame being made of still living wood. Decent. I don't think they even did that, but it's been a while. I have not looked into the 5e material at all lately. I don't own it. I haven't even talked about it much. Cheeseburger with ham. Not a cheeseburger with ham. It's a hamburger with ham. It's a ham hamburger. I mean, you might be able to get it with cheese, but the standard one does not have cheese on it. I mean, the thing about wood itself is that wood itself is only marginally alive anyway. It's the bark where all the living is done. It shows it with a cheese on the official site. Huh. That's weird. I don't think I've ever gotten one with cheese. Maybe they have a new double R-bar burger with cheese. Unfortunately, the nearest Roy Rogers to me is now like 20 minutes away, so I don't actually go up there very often. By the time I get the food home, it's cold. So, yeah. Back when my father was still alive, we'd go up there to eat. But he kind of isn't anymore, so let's put a little kibosh on that too. You can do cuttings of plants, yes. Like, that is a way that some can propagate, but like a branch still has the bark and everything on it. If you strip all the bark away and try to plant that, you're not gonna get anything. And yeah, it depends on the plant. Not every plant you can do that with. Like, for example, the genetics behind apples are so crazy that if you take the seeds from an apple that you've just eaten and plant them, you are not likely to get an apple tree that bears apples that taste like that. You have to graft cuttings from existing apple trees that produce apples with that flavor to get more apples of that flavor. But the big thing is that, like, the bark is still there. The bark is really the living part of the tree. Like, it is the most living part of the tree. If you don't have the bark, that's not growing anymore. That's why if stuff happens to the bark, you're more likely to get a dead tree than anything else. Like, trees can be hollow, and the thing that kills them is not it being hollow, it's losing its strength to hold itself up. Because the wood inside doesn't matter all that much. Like, it'll be moist, it'll have some water flowing through it, but not much. It really is the bark that is key. Now you want some almond bark pretzels. I have no idea what almond bark pretzels are. Alright, why are you not going on the way that I want? There we go. The outside bark is dead and the inner bark is alive? Fair enough. I don't know super duper amounts about trees. Cut off the bark and the tree could die, said that kid in the 70s would see the owl PSA, yeah? Like, when you get a knot forming on a tree, like, over a wound, that's it working to protect itself. Like a cyst in your body. Well, not exactly. Cysts aren't often, like, cysts in your body aren't always there to protect it. Like, they may develop that way, but pretty sure a lot do not. But yeah, I think they're called cysts on trees, too. Sometimes. Or I might be thinking of something else, now that I think about it. But yeah, like, in general, I just don't see construct-type characters being all that feasible. I don't really see them being able to grow like a normal PC race can. Because they're constructed. They don't grow. And they should technically be immortal, too. At least in terms of age. That's the reason why that one group you used a Tempest to animate. Natural inbuilt elemental chaos. Yeah, but it would also be evil. I mean, if you're animated by another creature, another living creature... Oh, fair enough. I've never really had cause to use any of them. How can you have a real creature when it's animated by another creature, kind of thing? I think the Eberron-class Artificer was closely related to the Warforged since they specialized in making magical items and got repair spells to repair them. I mean, there is, the mending spell, but you'd be, relying on another character to always heal you. Always heal you. I don't know, it just, it's not something that really has ever worked for me, so. I think as usually in 3+ Warforged, it could be any class, so they could be their own artificers. Seems circular. Yeah, no, I mean, 3E I don't think it ever had any class restrictions, so yeah, I mean, that would make sense, but it just doesn't make sense to me. I mean, I guess if someone in wanted to be a robot in my game, I'd be like, closest thing would be a modern Modron. And even then, they're technically alive, but appear to be clockwork kind of thing. In one FR novel, there were constructs made by Gond himself that worked by being imbued with a soul, animating it and providing a degree of intellect, and it was still bound to follow orders. The guy who ended up with them did not have the best of intentions, so that's another story. Yeah, I mean, the closest AD&D has to an actual, constructed individual creature that I would allow to be played would be, a clone or a simulacrum type thing. And they really generally can't be played. No, rogue Modrons have growth potential. Because they're rogue. Yeah. Keyword rogue, yeah. Can you be a Modron that has no feet and levitates slightly above the ground, but is still limited to regular game walking mechanics? Nope. Because rogue Modrons are, regardless of what they were before, they become cubicle Modrons. I think are quadrones, but I don't know. It's been a while since I've looked at Modrons. And even though they're rogue, they still have to be, I believe, lawful neutral. And maybe they're just lawful. Again, it's been a while. Just want to be a floaty robot? There might be sci-fi games for that. Yeah. All rogues become quadrones. I believe. They all become the same thing, yes. It might not be a quadrone. I might be misremembering on exactly what they become. But it's the cubicle variety. Again, like, it's been a while since I've had done anything with Modrons, like looked at them, because I'm not playing a Planescape game, and I have no intentions anytime soon for Modrons in any form to have anything to do with my Spelljammer game. What about a half-dragon centaur? Bahamut, you would probably want a Drakon. They are dragon centaurs. Of course, then the entire game would have to be tailored so that there's never any climbing involved. In the Cage of Faces of Sigil. Yeah, so I believe you want to look at Planewalker's Handbook. I believe that is where playable Modrons are, and that details their details. If my brain was in a robot, are you a robot or just a hypothetical? Well, that would be a cyborg. Half-dragon centaurs can't fly? No, they can't. Because they're not really half-dragons. But they are dragon-like. Yeah, it depends on how the thing is designed and programmed. I mean, voice... Like, it would be a digital voice creation, so if it had... like, a sample of your voice and sophisticated software, it could certainly emulate your voice. But your voice is, of course, determined by the physical features of your esophagus and windpipe. So yeah, otherwise it would not have your voice. But if it's your brain, it would be your feelings. No, Planewalker's Handbook is 2E. They wouldn't know our memories of family. If it has your brain and it has a full access to all the functions of your brain, it should. All of that stuff is stored in the brain. Mouth, tongue, sinuses, and teeth. Well, yeah. It's all of the forms of, you know, all of the physical details of your body's parts, shall we say. Because the shape of your chest, the size of your lungs, that's gonna have something to do with it too. Yeah, you want the Planewalker's Handbook, Duke Darkwood. That is a 2E Planescape book specifically designed for Planescape players. Like, I think it has kits. It has Genasi and Rogue Modron. More information about Aasimar and Tieflings and Githzerai and stuff like that. It should be on DM's Guild. Should be on DM's Guild. Okay, turn that around and get these on. On what? DM's Guild. In PDF form. DMSGUILD. Here, I'll get you a link. Give me a second. There you go. Alright, there we go. Now, put these together right there. And some 1x1 tiles here. Thing you've learned to do as a DM from your experiences playing Baldur's Gate 3, always have a backup plan if the party does something that isn't an instant game over. I mean, not necessarily have a backup plan, but be ready to roll with things on your feet. Like when my players they had an adventure that they were investigating some ships that got destroyed and stuff like that. You know, potential pirate attacks kind of thing. One of my players was like, hey, can we go find an underwriter? Well, there's no underwriters listed on Brawl, but obviously there should be. So I just immediately rolled with it and came up with, you know, an underwriter that they could go talk to and get some information out of. So, no problem, Duke Darkwood. Do I like this build? It's a little repetitive, but yeah. It's definitely, like, there's a lot of interesting details. I really like the look of this side. Not a fan of the gray down here, but But yeah, I mean, I knew it would be repetitive. It's good for chatting. Alright, spare parts. Beige 1x1 plate, 1x1 tile slope, and 1x1 tile. Tan 1x1 cylinder tile with top peg, and 1x1 cylinder plate with hollow stud. Really wish they would have done a completed as new Colosseum. One problem with that is it would be even more repetitive because every section would basically be the same or alternating. Like, we've got alternating sections down here kind of thing. Like in the time when Auld was young. Well, yeah. Yeah. Item number 3, if there's a meta plot that involves Mind Flayers and Githyanki, give the Githzerai some screen time aside from a random severed head. And you could also give the Pirates of Gith some screen time. Alright. 25 time. Oops. Get back there. Nope, just the one bag for 25. Alright. I mean, as cool as it is, I do kind of wish that it didn't have exaggerated height. I don't know what they would have done differently. It wouldn't be as big, but I do think that I would prefer it to not have the exaggerated height. All the underneath caverns and engineering there, the outside statues, top coverings, all would be neat. Yeah, that would be pretty awesome too. A selectively compressed minifig scale Colosseum, where they actually did have the, you know, like the, those elements. That would also be really cool. But it would also be freaking gigantic. Like, if you think this is big, it would be on a whole other scale. Well, that's why I mean selectively compressed. Do you like that BG3 has Tirsu written Gith script? Sadly, they only focus on the Gith Yankee form of writing and reading. I've never even heard of that. Not as bad as a minifig scale to Star Destroyer. Yeah, it would be a little bit smaller than that, yeah. A tad. A skosh. A smidge. A tinch. Alright, where is the tile slope? I'll find it in a bit. Is there a way to get rid of scratches on Lego pieces like a black 1x4 brick? You could try brass polish. Like Brasso. That gets rid of printing, and it does get rid of, like these slopes. They're textured. It'll smooth that out. I know because I've done it. But I don't know if it would have long-term negative effects on the parts. I would have to go, like, dig up some of those pieces and take a look at them. And I don't know what it would do to transparent pieces. It may make them cloudy. I mean, Brasso is an abrasive, I believe. I don't know if I would want fine-grain sandpaper. Not sure that would help Bahamut. If they kept the scale of footprint and made it half as tall, they really wouldn't be able to show the 3 tiers of arches properly. I don't know. You'll just chew on them a bit. You keep my Lego out of your mouth, sir. keep your beak to yourself. Mind flayers, always trying to beak everything. So disgusting. Alright, where is the 1x2? It's probably upside down, and that's why I'm not seeing it. Or partially hidden. There it is. Someone asked you on a TikTok live stream to sniff Lego. Most Lego doesn't have a smell. Particularly strong smell, at least. Yeah, no. It smells a little plasticky. That's about it. Yeah, luckily we don't kink shame here, except for Mad Martin. We do kink shame Mad Martin. But he's the only one. That's why we kink shame Mad Martin. Obviously. I forgot to, Oh no, it's just a very quiet track. You know what, it's almost over anyway. Let's go to a new track. I want some music in my head. I need to look for some good royalty-free synthwave next time we do some town sets or something. Once Titanic is done, can the scratches be seen? Depends on the part, depends on the scratch, and depends on where it is. At which point did I lose interest in new music? Late 90s. And I haven't lost interest in new music, I've just lost interest in new pop music. Pop music moved away from my tastes. Do I like hardcore remixes? I don't know what hardcore remixes are exactly. Alright, this is a very quiet track, I think. Yeah, let's go to a different one. Pop the volume up a little bit. There we go. I mean, that's just nature of these streams, where it's very much a chatty stream. Do I listen to pop in the 90s? Did I transition to alternative? I mostly continued to listen to 80s in the 90s. I like some 90s stuff, like early 90s stuff. I did tend to, listen to quite a bit of, but still, I mean, various types of pop. I don't know. I mostly just kept listening to 80s and then to non-pop music, I don't know. Other than the one song that was on the radio, that's it, Not-A-Rogue AI. 1 week. That's the only one that I know. Hey, Shield of Hope, we don't punch for that around here because we like that around here. I listened to a lot of alternative in college. Isn't it just the pop music of the latter half of the decade? I mean, in a lot of ways, I just listened to what I liked. I listened to a lot of, anime soundtracks and game soundtracks and stuff like that in the late 90s, I guess starting in the late 90s. Really, like, when you could first, like, really download music and stuff like that. Torrent, Napster. More Napster than Torrent at the time. Howdy, Lol Bunny. You lost interest once everything had involved a cringy, samey-sounding rap? I was really into rap for about a week. Stand up to the victory. Well, I didn't find that until much later, Mad Martin, but I do enjoy that. Audio Galaxy or Audio Galaxy? I'm sorry. I'll see myself out. So I didn't stand up to it. No, I didn't. I wasn't aware of it to stand up to it. I didn't get into Gundam until Cartoon Network actually had Gundam on, like Gundam Wing on Adult Swim. Negligence is no excuse. It is too. Didn't really get into music, though, until your late 30s, at which point your tastes gravitated largely to 80s classic rock, but did have a nostalgia for the music you heard so much of in college. Hey, those videos that list 80s one-hit wonders, most of them are not. Yeah, I've watched a few of those videos and then very quickly got to a point where I was like, these are crap videos. This is crap content. I should not give them my clicks. Oh yeah, it wasn't Adult Swim. It was Toonami. Thank you, Duke Darkwood. It's been what, 25 years plus, kind of thing, something like that. It's been a little while. It has been a little while. But yeah, starting in the late 90s, I got into anime. So, like, soundtracks, J-pop at the time. Stuff like that. That's what I transitioned to in the late 90s. Video game soundtracks. Yeah, no, it's just been a while, Duke Darkwood. It's like I said, 20-some years. Watching that with your little cousin is what hit you onto anime? So what got me into anime was Sci-Fi Channel's, like, Anime Week kind of thing. I remember our cable went on the fritz for the whole weekend the second year they did it, and I was really pissed off. But the first year was when I saw, like, Project A-ko, and what else was that first year? I think Lily Cat was that first year. What else was that first year? I don't remember. Project A-ko was definitely the thing that had the biggest impact on me of that. Project B-ko. Hey, the second incarnation of B-ko's voice, after the first series, the first movie, the voice actress that they got went on to be in Stargate SG-1. Have I ever seen Irresponsible Captain Tyler? Oh, yes. Oh, yes. That introduced me to Crispin Freeman as a voice actor. He did a great job. And then he got overused. You want the Simba Lego set? Looks cool. Stitch was a fun build, actually, and funnily enough, that video of mine does some numbers. But yeah, Irresponsible Captain Tyler is pretty great. That is a very fun show. If anyone is into anime and has not seen it, I do recommend it. There was a time that, like, the early days of DVDs, when I had a considerable amount of disposable income relative to my expenses, that I was buying almost every anime series that came out here in the US on DVD. So there is a time period in which have you seen this? Yes, I have. If it was out here in the US. Tenchi? Oh, yeah. Is there any Tenchi that I haven't seen from that period? I think there's some newer Tenchi that I have not seen, for sure. But the Tenchi Muyo movie, that's a really good movie. First video ever he had was Barney. Like, the cinematography of the Tenchi Muyo in Love and the music, Christopher Frank of Tangerine Dream. Great music. Is Tenchi the guy with the X on his face? No. Tenchi Muyo is one of the prototype harem-style animes. With the male main character that every female character wants to date. Howdy, Bubba. How's it going? Okay, not yet, actually. Yeah, Rurouni Kenshin is the guy with the X-shaped scar. Unfortunately, the creator of that is let's just say that is one of those series that once you kind of know about the creator, you don't really want to watch the series anymore, no matter how good it is. Obscure anime you have watched, Now and Then, Here and There was pretty good. Yes. 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 Why UGG? Not a Rug AI? Turns out that the creator of Rurouni Kenshin is a pedophile. And now my video has probably been demonetized. Yeah, yeah. It's one of those. But yeah, not a. I mean, Sealan, not a. Now and then, here and there, is very good. And as a palate cleanser, the director is awesome. From everything that I've heard, and it is one of the darkest animes I've ever seen. Yeah, Mad Martin, I know it's. It really, really sucks when creators for things, fun things, things that you like, turn out to just be awful people. It really is. Like, I've never been into anything by Neil Gaiman, but I feel for the people who really loved his stuff and liked him as a person until recently. I don't know. You can try to separate. You can. And for people who want to, I think it is fair to let them, but at the same time, for people who can't, it's fair to that they cannot, you know? So you replace Kenshin with Trigun in your hierarchy. Good choice. Good choice. Trigun is good. I have not heard anything bad about the author of that, so there you go. Yep. All right, let's get that there. And I'm guessing that we are going to top that. Yep, there we go. How many more bags are left? Well, there's a whole box left, even setting aside the bags that we're on. Watching Crescent's playing of Xenosaga, you realize the voice actress for Shion is the same one who does Millie and Trigun? Oh, yeah. Yeah, she's good. Although I still like Cosmos' voice actress better. Bridget Hoffman is my favorite voice actress. Alright, we got spare parts, a 1x1 tile slope. Watch out for today's new... Well, there's so many people just, you know, like Lel Bunny at this point, if they're in the US, I do not, like... The bad people are showing themselves for who they are, so there is that. Duke Darkwood, it's not that I don't want to know, it's that I don't care about looking for it. Like, I'd have to look, and I'm not going to. Because I'm just building it as it comes. So I think this will probably be the last one that we build tonight, so we're not going to get a full... Ooh, sorry about that. We're not going to get a full quarter done, so probably another 2 sessions, I think. Might not be anime, but you do prefer Kamen Rider? Yeah, I've never gotten into Super Sentai stuff myself. Your wife made an awesome Trigun picture? Well, you're welcome to share that on the Discord if you want. Well, you know, she doesn't mind. Trigun is a good show. Colosseum segment to the face, yep. Bonk. Thought I was still on 24? They're a little samey. They're a little samey, so... Like, not as a bad thing, but it's very easy to miss where I am. Rather less so as it gets into the dilapidated parts. Yeah. I mean, it's not, like, 100% samey, but it does do a little bit. Yeah, once you know what you're doing, I've definitely jumped some segments here and there. There was a new Trigon a few years back. You got a new anime. I have not. Kind of thinking about canceling my Netflix subscription anyway. I haven't been watching a whole lot on there. Like, maybe it's just nostalgia, but definitely part of it is how movies are being made these days. But I mostly want to watch old stuff these days, and like, I think Netflix has a grand total of like 3 pre-1980s movies or something like that. The classic struggle of starting an anime before the manga is complete, yeah. Of course, my struggle with manga is every company that I have liked that has gotten a license of a manga that I like, and yes, I do swap between those two pronunciations occasionally, drops it before it ends. Only thing you'd watch on Netflix is the Magic the Gathering show, and they'd probably cancel it after one season. Yeah. Yeah, they got a reputation for that now. So, Nadaroge, one of the manga series that I'm thinking of was a self-contained 3-volume series. They stopped it after 2. So you know. So you know. Clearly it was 1 volume too long. No, clearly the licensor sucked. I mean, to be fair, it may not have been selling the numbers that they wanted, and probably didn't, but still. Grumble, grumble. So let's see, that was, I don't remember which one it was, but it was a Gundam manga. École du Ciel never got finished. Mamoto Shugogetten never got finished. What else? What else did I get into? I didn't really get into too many others, I think, because in part because of that. And I've never really been a big manga person anyway. Tend to be more interested in actual novels. Now, that said, the hardbound Gundam The Origins, those are really, really, really nice. Really nice. Now your wife is looking for that Trigun picture? Nice. Excellent. Now you're watching Double Zeta. Good choice. Good choice. think after played Super Robot Wars, you ended up watching Victory Gundam, Gundam Zeta, Gun X Sword. I haven't watched that one yet. I don't know. I have like a... I have a serious objection to... yeah, I heard about that. What is a good place to start with Gundam? So, Kinshir, how do you want to start with it? I would recommend the original TV series. If you want a little bit more of a bite-size thing, then I would say start with the compilation trilogy, although the pacing isn't so hot. If you want something a little bit more self-contained that also has pacing issues, I'd say F91. 8th MS Team is good, 12 episodes, that's true. If you want to start with a shorter series that's kind of self-contained, but is also relevant, you know, like, doesn't need too much other knowledge. 0080 is good, but it's also not very much like the others. Like, to a certain extent, I kind of feel like it does benefit more from having an understanding of the elements of the Gundam series already. Do not start with 0083. No, there are no minifigs in this set. They would have needed to have licensed him. They do not need to license the Colosseum. That was... That actually doesn't mean much if you haven't seen Zeta Gundam, not a Rogue AI. Like, I would definitely not recommend watching them in chronological order. I did that with someone, and afterwards I kind of realized that that's not actually a great idea, in part because of that. Because I watched 0083 before Zeta, and that didn't mean anything. I watched Zeta, then went back and rewatched 0083, and then I was like, oh, I see. There's some great anime series that you've seen. Some are not the kind that you want to watch again, that you want to watch again, like Fruits Basket. Understandable. Now and then, here and there. Calling back to Seal and Mortar. That one, by the director of Fruits Basket, or at least the original anime. I think there's a newer Fruits Basket that is longer. Yeah, there are several self-contained AUs. I think some of them, like, they depend a little bit more on, like, knowledge of Gundam helps with some of them. I mean, I guess Kinshir, like, it kind of depends on what your hope is. Do you want to get into Gundam? Do you just want to see if it's your kind of thing? Just need to know and love the Shrike team. Oof. Oof. get connected to them, each and every one of them. So now I'm curious if anyone other than Seelan has seen Now and Then Here and There. Curious about it since it began military anime as a genre? Then I would say start at the beginning. I would say start at the beginning, because the first series is really what did that, what set the tone. And while it's not necessarily the most, like, militaristic one kind of thing, especially if you've seen 70s giant robot anime, the first series has some executive toy meddling, yeah. So if you want to, like, if you want to avoid that, the movies are better in that regard. But the movies do have some bad pacing. The compilation trilogy, but they do have some great music. So yeah, if you wanna like kind of test the waters, I would say the first trilogy movie is probably your best bet. Nearest era of anime you've seen is Macross through Harmony Gold. Yeah, I would probably say check out the movies then. The movie trilogy. If you like that, go watch the TV series, which is a bit better paced. There's there's excellent stuff in the television series that got cut out of the compilation movies. You want to see the end of the second anime Harmony Gold made Robotech out of? That was available for a while. I do own the DVDs of it. Yeah, Southern Cross. Super Dimensional Cavalry Southern Cross. And then the third one is... I forget what the full name is, but it's Mos Pieta. First anime you watched was dubs like Digimon, Yu-Gi-Oh!, and the one you enjoyed at some points was Zatch Bell and Metabots. Metabots is good. I will stand for Metabots. I haven't watched most of the others, never really cared to, but Metabots was fun. And had some good storylines, too. It was a third super dimensional anime, but they didn't figure out how to Robotech it. I'm blanking on what that might be. I know that if someone mentions it, it'll pop up in my head. Also have Votoms to watch. Ended up picking that up. There's one bad episode of that early on, but most of the rest of that is good. Good ending. I love the ending of that. Jurko Kuvi is a great... Oh yeah, Super Dimensional Century Orgus. Yeah. They did... Did they? Kinda? I think they tried to do something with that. It's a very weird one, because it's an isekai. was available here in the US for not very long, and I missed it, I think. Yeah, it's not there. No, that's the bungle. No, I think I did miss it. The story didn't really have a way to flow from where they left Robotech Part 2. Yeah, no, it did not. Visually, it would have worked, but I think most of the anime that you've seen was once a week Saturday Toonami block and some of the weekday stuff around Dragon Ball. That is definitely, I mean, that is all of the most approachable for sure. I watched Robotech back in the day. Yeah, like that's why I was saying, like, I had more disposable income than I had expenses back when they were coming out on DVDs, and ended up getting a lot of stuff. It is a shame that there aren't too many good, like, old anime streaming services that would have stuff like Orgus. Orgus is one that has great openings and ending songs too. So much anime you want to watch, so little time, and even less money to pay for it all. Yeah, I know. Yeah. If I had more disposable income, I'd probably get back into getting hard copies, because I do not trust any of the places to maintain access anymore. And at this point, I don't think that I'd get rid of my like, I've thought about getting rid of some of my, like, a lot of my DVDs. I'm not so sure that I will anymore, given how things are going. Well, if I bought less Lego, but then I wouldn't be able to entertain you all with this. That said, I should get out some DVDs and do some watch parties. Watch some animus. Lego would equal more profit if more people work towards the current goals, which I should add is the now out of production typewriter. Not sure what we will get, what we will put on the list next. I will have to think about that if we get that. We're not there yet. Still have a bit of ways to go for that goal. Well, it's generally not quite so bad anymore, Lel Bunny, but you generally have to get the whole series now. But yeah, that was one of the good things about having, like, anime clubs or friends who were into anime and stuff like that you guys could, you could get something that you like, and they might get something to try out and stuff like that. Split the difference on the costs. Sorry, trying to be responsible with money. Yeah. Your money is consumed by Magic the Gathering. So not excuses to squelch on your tithes to Lord Ald? Exactly. Tithe to me, please. Oops, it helps if I actually build the columns too, doesn't it? At least you're part of the Golden Horde. That's true. That is true. No, I do appreciate all the support, regardless of what it is. You know, even if it's just coming out and watching the streams, enjoying them and stuff like that. I really do appreciate that. It does help. After all, like, these streams would be super boring if I didn't have anyone to talk to, if no one came out. I'm a joy to watch. Aw, thanks. I appreciate that. These are indeed trying times. These are indeed trying times. Call your senators and representatives, everyone. This famous thing from the 70s about ABC canceling anything with a tree as they abruptly switched from rural shows to urban. Yeah, that sometimes happens. You know, I don't have to, and maybe it can be hard on the environment. There are definitely times when I have to push myself to stream. To do it, because I know that, like, especially when times are bad, like, it's all the more important to be able to take a breather and relax and have a good time. Like, to not do that is to go crazy. Thank you, Bahamut. I do appreciate that. I really do. I'm glad that I've got a great community here. You're already crazy. Ah, I7 has redeemed Feed the Dragon. Nom 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 nom. Delicious. Nom nom nom. Too late, Ald? You're already crazy? Well, that's okay. It's okay. There's a good kind of crazy. See, like, there's good weird and there's bad weird. I am proud to be good weird, not the bad weird like Elon Musk. Bahamut has also redeemed Feed the Dragon. Nom 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 nom. Oh, so tasty. Nom 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 nom. Delicious hams. You have a mountain of those, so you might as well pay the hams forward. Well, that's why you have to distinguish between good weird and bad weird, Lord Canis. Just like how bad can mean good. All right. Let's get that there. But are you bad to the bone, Vigistry? You could do that again? I'm sure there's a lot of you who could do that again. You're going to be a ham miser? Well, that just means that I need to come up with some other uses. It is hard to think of fun things that are actually doable. It actually is. Also, it is raining outside, and I have a humidifier on in my room, and I think my room is getting a little humid. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. How many feedings would it take to make me hungry in real life? Ah, see, Lil Bunny, here's the thing. I am always hungry. Always hungry. Kinda sucks, actually. Okay, on the other side. I don't know why they're using these pieces instead of 1x3 plates. It's kind of weird. Should you call me Ald the Hungry Dragon then? I mean, you could if you wanted. That's fine. Sure. I'm just saying, I'm always hungry. There we go, and there we go. Alright. Actually, that should be up. Alright. So that is going to fit on right here. Okay. All right, 5 of the arched windows down at the bottom. Tell my housemate to feed me more. I actually mostly get my own food. Housemate and I very much live our own lives. Housemate is not the girlfriend, no. Alright, put that aside, because we are... I guess before I put this on, spare parts, 1x1 plates in beige and tan, and beige 1x1 cylinder plate. Not anymore, Lil Bunny. Okay, let's put you guys back there, because this is coming down. Urgh. To find a... No, it's fine. It's fine. It just didn't work out. It was not a... Like, it was amicable. We're still friends. So, it is perfectly fine. It just didn't work out. Okay. There we go. You know, as those things do. Yeah, there's nothing there. All right. Okay. Get a little bit of hydration there. Okay, let's see. So I'm not going to get started on a new section just yet. I was just making more room for his hardest of hearts. Mainly you, because you're special. You just love me for my brain, Mad Martin. Your wife and you don't work out. You're still together. You're a dead man now. We knew what you were talking about. A couple that exercises together doesn't necessarily stay together. No, just kidding. All right. So we'll get some more pieces. I'm not sure why we're putting these on now rather than like when we have more done. All right. Good God, this is big. All right. Oh, geez. All right. Well, that's a thing. Okay. That might be a little bit too heavy there for that to work out that way. How heavy would I say that is? Too heavy, apparently, Vigistry. The Vandals have sacked Rome. It startled you. It startled you, Bahamut. Think about how it startled me. Okay, I think I'm going to have to put that back together afterwards. Because it's kind of all coming apart here. It's kind of all coming apart. Off-stream Lego fixing. Yeah, and also off-stream figuring out what to do. Because if that's too heavy up there, it would probably be okay if... It'd probably be okay if I had gotten the whole sequence done. But, yeah. Yeah. Like, this whole section right here is so loose that it's hard to get it back together. Alright, I'm going to take these off. Yeah, that's going to be off-stream fixing, I think. Off-stream figuring out what I need to do about that. Let's just do some minifigs. Because also the other part came apart as well, but that's a little bit easier to put back together, I think. Yeah, that looks like that's already back. I might need to have it lean out a little bit more. Yeah, a little top-heavy. A little top-heavy. Well, that's fine for now. We'll, I'll do that. I'll figure that out afterwards. All right. All right. Let's do some minifigs. Let's do some minifigs. Oh, yeah, I need to get out the sheets. I don't know where I'm going to store this now in between sessions either. Oh, that's great. All right. Let's get you there. All right. Right, I need a D6. All right, 1, so we are going into that column there. Uh, 13, I don't think there are 13 left. Actually, I think we could probably do a D12. It's probably better. 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Nope. Nope. D10, D12 is not enough. I need a D10. No, that's a 10. Okay, 4. We got a 4. 1, 2, 3, and a 4. All right. Let's go ahead and unlock my other computer so I can start the actual thing. All right, let's start the prediction. Can all guess what is inside the minifig pack? Get your predictions in. Let me go ahead and roll my d20. 13. All right, so that is the zombie businessman. Let's see. 13 for Nadarogai, also a zombie businessman. 9 for Bahamut, that would be the Tiger Lady. 7 for Vigistry, that would be the Spectre. 17 rerolled to a 9 for Seelan, that would be the Tiger Lady as well. 16 for Ice Oven, that would be the Spider Lady. Sidebar does not match the card, no, because I do not have a sidebar for this one, but that'll be the third set. Initial guess is a Minotaur Praetorian Guard. Oh, terrible, terrible. Let's see. I did. Let's see. There was some talk about some of the sets coming up, and I did pull out my. Oh yeah. So here is the friend set that I was talking about, restaurant and cooking school here. And here, like, the roof comes off, and you get all of these food ingredients to go inside. It's a little out of focus. It's fine. So I'm actually I really like that, and I really want that set. So I will definitely be looking into getting that set at some point. There is a new piece, a gyoza dumpling type piece. So that I'm pretty excited about getting as well. Let's see, just a few seconds remaining. Let me get my timer ready. Dancing Leonin minifig. Thank you, thank you. You aim to displease. Terrible. Terrible. Alright. Predictions are closed. So, and go. Alright. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Alright. Alright. 7.33. Troglodyte scientist. Nope, it is going to be the Spider Lady. She's the only one with the dress slope, and I felt the dress slope. There is the plastic cape element, and it is indeed the Spider Lady. Let's choose the outcome. That was, once again, come on, unlock, 7.33 seconds. Your roll got it. Indeed, it did. All right, within 20 seconds, complete that prediction. And Bahamut and Kinshir getting all of the hams. Very nice. Lord Canis, Ice Oven, Vigistry going for 20 to 50. Seelan going for 50 to 60. And Lel Bunny going for no. All right. Like the beast, you know, like the beehive style hairdo. Oh. These are actually two separate pieces rather than one. I thought they were one for a second there. Is there an obvious difference? There is not. Okay. So it's a plastic cape rather than a fabric cape, which I guess is the only way that you get the clear part. Favorite moments of my LPs are when I say something random based on the situation, and then the character just says exactly what I said. Okay, she might be a spider lady. She might also be a vampire. Hard to say. Kind of don't like that the hair has a print on it. I don't have a lot of this hair piece. Let's go ahead and zoom on in. Where is my thing? There it is. There we go. All right. Zooming on in. There we go. Kind of hard to see. It's a little bit out of focus, but she's got little fangs. She's got little fangs, so you know, she's a vampire. I like the red spider. It's a different spider than the old style, and a very spidery dress. It is kind of Elvira-y, yeah. It is kind of Elvira-y. Not enough obvious cleavage, though, really. No printing on the back of the dress, either. All right, let's go ahead and zoom on out there. Okay, let's go ahead and mark that one. There we go. Elvira if she was Madam Web from Spider-Man. Okay, next up. We do get the hairpiece in this one, though, in another color, but I don't know if I have one in black. A standard one. Alright. D6. That is a 4. So we're going to the middle. D20. And that is a 2. 1 and 2. Alright, let's start that prediction. Can all guess what is inside the minifig pack? Get your predictions in! While I put away my boxes. Alright, so let's see. Giant Spider Lady attacks Colosseum, news at 11. Maybe that's why it all broke apart. Isovan and Vigastry both got 15. And Bahamut got 10. That would be the barista that we got last time. 5 for Not a Rogue AI. That would be Abraham Lincoln with his hat and beard connected. You know, as Abraham Lincoln had, you know. So we have not gotten Lord Business. We have not gotten Emmett. We have not gotten Miss Scratch and Post. We have not gotten the Construction Lady. We have not gotten the Cyborg Receptionist. We have not gotten Taco Tuesday Guy. We've not gotten the Robo Prospector. We've not gotten Panda Guy, and we have not gotten the Mermaid. Taking manual control. Assuming control. Leonin Superman. Wouldn't that be a Leonin Super Leonin? I don't think a Leonin can be a Superman because they're not a man. Troglodyte politician. Oh yeah, lots of those. Super Cat. Super Cat. Kuotoa lifestyle coach. Yeah, see, now what you have to do is go a little insane. You know, just like that song. You know what I'm talking about, the song by Lindsey Buckingham. Alright, just a few seconds remaining to get your predictions in. And predictions are closed. Okay. And go. What do we got? What do we got? What is that? What is that piece? Is that... Okay. 18.65. I do think that I got the panda. Let's see if we got the panda guy. We did get the panda guy. So, that was 18.65. Let's see who's getting the hams. Choose the prediction. That is within 20 seconds. Complete that prediction. And Seelan and Bahamut getting all of the hams. Very nice. Lord Canis, Kinshir, Ice Oven going for 20 to 50. Shield of Hope going for 50 to 60. And Lel Bunny going for no. Another die roll is correct. You're 2 for 2. 2 for 2. All right. Got some sweat drops on his face. There we go. And his panda bear. All right, let's go ahead and zoom in. I do like the stuffed panda bear. That's pretty cute. Panda costume, got a zipper in the back. And the head. He's a little hot. There's some it's hard to see. They're white sweat drops and his tongue is sticking out. At least, unlike Batman, they didn't paint black around his eyes to make the make it more stand out more, or to hide his eyes more, or something like that. All right, there we go. You got booted out. Oh, that's too bad. Missed out on the prediction. I did already mark that down. All right, because that is our first panda, and I marked that down. All right. So, next up, we have 6 remaining D&D minifigs. Alright, that is going to be a 6, so that one, the final one. Alright. There we go. Let's go ahead and get our scale ready. Get our D12 ready. And start a new prediction. Can all guess what is inside the minifig box? Get your predictions in. So 5 for you, Seelan, this time. That would be the halfling druid. So one of Finn's good friends. Lord Canis is guessing it's going to be a Sawhagen vegan chef. Yes, humans are vegan, aren't they? Bahamut is going for a 6. You're going to need a reroll because we've gotten all the Aarakocra. 12 for Not a Rogue AI. That is Tasha. 10 for Vigistry. That is the Lady of Pain. A Minotaur Colosseum event advertiser. Get your predictions in. 10 for Ice Oven also. That is the Lady of Pain. So, according to this, which there are 2 that I've missed, marking down, we have 2 Gith, we have 1 Dragonborn, 1 Halfling Druid, 1 Strahd, 1 Elf, 1 Lady of Pain, and 1 Tasha left, but 2 of those are wrong. A Leonin Bat Cat. We have all of them so far, Bahamut, because there's so few left, and I'm not going to have the... I'm not going to be getting the May set, at least not like a full set of it, because it's just little race cars. I'm not going to be doing the whole thing. I mean, I'm just going to be doing the whole thing, and we'll do the whole thing for the next set as well. Alright, let me see if there was anything else interesting in this catalog. Only have a few seconds left anyway. Okay, predictions are closed. Alright, setting that aside. Okay. Let me go ahead and get my scanner all ready. Okay. Alright. So first, I'll go ahead and roll the, well, actually, no, I'll wait on the die. Alright, so let's see. Alright, I think it's going to be the GIF. That is going to be my guess. Let's roll the die. 6. I need to re-roll. 9. Alright, so that's elf. What does the weight say? So I say GIF. Die says elf. And the weight is 17.98, just about 18. Weight says elf. The weight says elf. All right. All right. Dwarven Battle Rager ready for arena debut. Well, not after the arena fell apart. All right. Well, so the dice and the weight agree. It's the elf bard. All right. Let's see if that is correct. Howdy, Area High One. How's it going? That is correct. All right. So I actually thought that that we had gotten all 3 of the elves. So now I'm pretty convinced that we've gotten all 3 of the Tashas. But I'm not sure what the other one that we've gotten is. Alright, now we have gotten all 3 of the elves, and the dice were correct. Choose a prediction. That is going to be yes with die roll. Complete that prediction. Who is getting the hams? Shield of Hope getting a nice hefty payout there. All right. Bahamut and Lord Canis going for yes with guess. Ice Oven Vigistry, Lel Bunny going for yes with weight. And Kinshir dropping 10K on no. Doing some nice redistribution there. I do really like this figure. I do really like this figure. It is a good figure. She's going to be lecturing everyone, though. Alright, see ya, Bahamut. Thanks for coming on out. Just shouting at everyone there. Let's go ahead and zoom in there. Yeah, she's singing, I know. She could be shouting. Could be shouting. Alright. I do really like this this figure, though. And we get a spare male head and a gold saber. All right, but that is going to wrap us up for tonight. So that means that, let's see. So the other possibility is that I did get the three Dragonborn Paladins already, but I'm not positive. Like I said, I do think that we've gotten all of the Tashas. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So somewhere in there are 2 that we forgot to mark down. It's one of the problems with some of these, you know, the last the last minifig I do for a night. I don't always remember to mark them down. All right, but that is going to wrap us up for this stream. I am going to repair the damage that I dealt to the Colosseum. I'm gonna figure out someplace else to put it, because that does not work. It does not work. So I will have to figure that out. All looked at Roy Rogers' locations, and the only ones left are clustered around DC, so no double R burgers for you. No, I know. It's great for me. It sucks for everyone else, and it's a shame. It's a shame. Dragons are destructive? Who knew? I know, sorry. Anyway, I want to thank you guys for coming on out. We will be back tomorrow for some more Spelljammer. We will be back on Monday for more Torn of the Golden Country. Wednesday we will be back for some more Lego building. Friday we will be back to continue this. And I want to thank you guys for coming on out. I shall see you next time. See you then, everyone.